Hello and welcome to another garden vlog. I'm freshly back from Mexico, as you can tell from my peeling skin. I've been with Keith for 17 years and he looked at me the other day and said, "This is the first time I've ever seen you with a sunburn." And he would be correct. I don't get a sunburn. I might get a little pink and then it's gone the next morning. But this bad boy, this was a sunburn. My garden is doing fantastic. And I'm in the process of moving these downstairs because they're going outside today. I am having a little bit of trouble with my melons, which was already a problem in the last vlog. And then my cabbages, broccolis, and cauliflowers are struggling a little bit too. But I'm hoping some sunshine will make them happy again. Let's move these guys. Got all of our little seedling babies out here in the nice sunshine. I'm gonna leave them out for probably at least 3 hours and we'll check on them after a while. I've made it outside to my little kitchen garden beds, and remember in the last vlog I was talking about these chives, how I cut them down in hopes that they wouldn't be so woody. They are still woody, but we did have a couple more frosts since I cut them, so I'm gonna cut them one more time, and then if they continue to be woody, then I'm just gonna pull them up and plant new ones. But I think it probably has to do with the frost, so we're gonna give it another go. They smell so good. I'm actually gonna save these and put them on our dinner tonight, but they did need cut down, so leave those for later. One more thing I wanted to do quickly and share with you, because if you don't know, it's so easy, but I have these leftover green onions that I didn't get used up because we were on a trip and the house and cat sitter didn't end up using them. So all you have to do to plant green onions and have them grow beautiful, beautiful green onions for you, I just raked the soil a little bit, loosened it up, and I am gonna cut these off about right here. And then all you do is you just stick them down in the dirt. And they will grow beautiful, beautiful, beautiful green onions for you all season long. You can pretty much stick these in not concrete, in gravel, and they will grow beautifully. So don't be afraid that you don't have good soil. You can just stick them in, like, hi Lime, watch out buddy. You can literally just stick them in a pot with some soil, like from Walmart, and they will give you beautiful abundance. We've got a little sweet potato care to do today. These are my purple slips, and as you see, they are producing roots. This is the point which you can plant them. I am going to wait for the roots to become more established than this, but they would be good to go if you would like to. I just removed the dead leaves and now I'm gonna fill this back up with water. I'm actually gonna get rid of that one because I have plenty and more to pluck off. Purple, and here are more purple sweet potatoes. So as you can see, the majority of these are at least 4 inches. So as we did in the last vlog, we just twist to remove, and then I'm going to remove the lower leaf and I'm going to put it into the jar. As you can see, this one pretty much already has roots. It grew roots on the plant, which it does happen sometimes. So you could plant that one if you wanted to. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull all of these off because I don't want them sticking straight up into the air and long like this. I'm probably gonna have to get a taller jar for some of these. Like I said, I was on vacation, so I was not able to, I'm gonna get rid of that one. I was not able to pluck these off at the point where I kind of wanted to, so some of these are going to be long like this, which is fine. They'll still totally work. It just, ideally, I like to pluck them off at about 4 or 5 inches. This feels like plenty of slips for me as far as my purple sweet potatoes because they aren't my most favorite and I only usually plant like 1 or 2 bins of them. So this is plenty for that. With that being said, I am going to dispose of this potato. He's just going to go straight into the trash. I do have 1 more purple sweet potato that isn't quite producing as quickly as this one, so I do still have a purple sweet potato that I can get slips from, but this guy's done his job. You did a great job, buddy. Really great job. You're a great potato to me. I got my potatoes mixed up. For some reason I was thinking this was a garnet sweet potato. It is not. It is the other purple sweet potato. So again, this sweet potato is producing crazy well also. So I'm just gonna remove the slips from it. Again, you could plant this one. It grew roots on its own on the plant. And I am also going to dispose of this purple sweet potato because there is no need for it to sit around and rot in my kitchen. All right, those are all of my purple sweet potato slips. Like I said, I am going to compost these purple sweet potatoes and be done with them. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of the sweet potatoes and I will catch you up when I'm done. Okay, this is where we're at. Excuse the socks. They got really dirty on a hike in Mexico, so they are soaking in OxiClean. I have to get rid of one of my garnet sweet potatoes. It is rotting. It is still producing and it doesn't stink, but I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it because I still have this guy and I have this mini slips, so we're doing good. I'm gonna get rid of him. I also had to get rid of one of my Japanese sweet potatoes because it, I guess, got knocked over or something probably, and so it was split in half. And then, like I said, this is the purple sweet potatoes. I have gotten rid of the actual potatoes and these are just the slips. I forgot, I have 2 garnet sweet potatoes, so we're still going good with the garnets. And then these are all of my white sweet potatoes and these are all of their slips so far, so we're doing good. The only slips that I don't have yet are the Japanese sweet potatoes, and that is very common. They are always the very last to produce for me every season, but they will. See, as you can see, they're coming. They're just slow to the show. I've brought all of the plants back in. They spent about 4.5 hours outside. I did go ahead and pull the melons and like cabbage family that I knew weren't gonna make it. So I've still got several left. We'll see how they do over the next week. I'm going to introduce them to the outside every day for probably the next week and then plant them hopefully next weekend. So today is Friday. Hopefully I can plant them like the following weekend. Yeah, that's that. For now, they're gonna be on my kitchen counter, which I don't really like, but I don't really have another choice because I'm not gonna run them from downstairs to upstairs every single day. So they're gonna live here for a week. Good afternoon. It's the next day. If you hear a cow bawling in the background, we have somebody that's in heat today. So she's a little vocal. I am itching to get my hands in the dirt and I don't really have anything that I can do. I can plant some flowers in my herb garden and I could probably plant some herbs. But as I told you yesterday, my broccolis and cauliflowers and melons weren't doing so great. And I'm gonna keep what I can keep, but I'm also going to replant in their little pods and see how that goes. So I've got everything laid out here. These Amish melons took pretty well. There's only one empty bay, but I am gonna plant a couple more just in case because these are starting to kind of wilt a little bit. I think they'll be okay. I think they're gonna survive, but just for good measure. And then all of my watermelons didn't make it, and all of my Pride of Wisconsin cantaloupes did not make it. So I'm gonna replant these guys. And then as you can see, some of my broccolis are okay, but they are kind of laying down. So I'm gonna replant in every single pod. I'm gonna replant all my cabbages that did not make it. This is the only one that's there. And then these are all the different types of cauliflowers. The regular cauliflower, the purple cauliflower, and then the Romanesco. So I'm going to replant all of these. By the way, Rosie and Booby are out here, and Lemon, and I don't know where Lime is.
can play with that, but you can't play with my plants, okay? Okay, you can't play with my little seedlings. You're so much bigger than them.
I found more that I could do in the garden, so I'm rolling with it. I had some leftover soil from last year that I just used to top off my beds, give it some fresh nutrients. So I put it in this bed, and then I topped it off with these cattle panels because Lemon and Lime like to use it as the restroom. They don't once the plants start coming up, but I just want to keep them out of it. So we're gonna do that, and then once I actually get everything planted and it starts coming up, then I'll put mulch around it because that will help too. But none of my other cats really bother the garden stuff, so they're their own breed, man. And now I'm just going to weed this one and top it off with some fresh soil and nutrients, and get this one covered too. I might plant some herbs in a little bit, but we will see. I'm just gonna do this first and see where we're at with time because I gotta do chores here in a little bit. I just wanted to show you that it's only 24 hours since I've planted these green onions, and I just want to show you how much they've grown. All of this is new growth. They were cut to here yesterday, and now the insides are growing so fast. So you don't need to plant many, but I will probably plant about double this. But I will have plenty of green onions for me and family all summer long. All right, I have the beds fully refreshed and covered up so Lemon and Lime will stay out of them. And this is what I decided to do. I'm actually gonna plant some flowers in each one of these beds, just a few to kind of give it a little bit of character and to help bring bees and butterflies and keep some insects away. I'm gonna do that. That way they have a chance to kind of start coming up before I actually plant any vegetables or herbs in there. That way I know what to weed and what not to weed. Lemon, get out. 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 Down. 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 Come on. Eat down. Thank you. I'm gonna plant some flowers and let them come up over the next week before I start planting stuff in here. But we've got, these are like marigolds, 3 different types of zinnias, and then these 2 types of marigolds. So I'm gonna do just a little bit of splattering. I did the marigolds and I just kind of marked where I put each one with one of these labels. And then the zinnias, I'm just doing along the border, the sides and the back, because they grow really tall. So I did this one so far. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Yeah, like here's one. I haven't pushed them down yet. And then I'm gonna do this one, kind of scatter them about, and then this one. And then we'll go along and push them down. All right, I've got all of the zinnias placed. So now I'm just gonna take my finger and push them down about 1/8 to 1/4 inch. I just kind of did a little chaos gardening, like there was no really rhyme or reason. But I love zinnias, they're so pretty. The more the merrier. I'm gonna plant my first tubs of potatoes on Monday. So I went ahead and cut some sprouted potatoes, and that way they can kind of like crust over for like 48 hours. I did 4 russet potatoes, and then these are Yukon Golds. So I'll plant 2 tubs of Yukon Golds, and then I'll plant 1 tub of russets. I probably won't need all 4 of these, but I have them just in case. I've made it outside to plant my russet and my Yukon Golds, a couple of them anyways. And it is so windy out that I came in this little shed so I could chat. I love to plant my potatoes in bins like this because when the season is over, you can just tip them over and pull the potatoes out instead of having to dig the potatoes out. And often when you use like a little shovel to dig the potatoes out, you'll end up scoring the potato and hurting it. I had to let the wind pass there, but anyways, the way you plant potatoes is you just add a little bit of soil. So I'm gonna fill it like 1/3 of the way, and then I'm gonna show you me planting my potatoes. Once they start growing up out of the soil, that's when you'll add more soil so that they just keep stacking upon one another. So you're gonna add soil as the season moves on. Here's my potatoes, and here's my bins. They're about a third of the way full. We're gonna start with the big plants, which are these. Do 3 in that one, and 3 in that one. Between the wind and the lawnmower, I'm not sure how much you're gonna be able to hear, but I'm gonna try my best. So as you can see, this is the portion that's cut and crusted over. And then we've got the little eyes here. You want the eyes facing up because that is what grows. All right, we've got them evenly spaced. Now, literally, all you do is just dig a little hole. Get them down as far as you can. I can feel the bottom, so just make sure there's some dirt. Place your potato in and cover it up. It is that simple, my friends. You want to get these as low as you can without them touching the bottom of the barrel, because like I said, you're just going to keep adding soil as they start growing up out of the soil. And that's it. That's all you do. We like to put these things on top of the bins. That way the cats don't get in our produce. See how much taller that is? Now the cats can't jump in there. We're headed to the Amish greenhouse after lunch today just to get a few things that I can plant in my garden that are a little further along. And so I made a list. I want like maybe 1 or 2 big beefs, some Amish paste, some 𝗀𝗲𝗄𝗧. I don't have any poblano peppers, so I need to get poblano peppers. Seed Savers was out this year, so I couldn't get any. I need to get marigolds that are already established for the garden. And then I'm gonna get some broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage as well. The broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage that I planted the other day, like replanted, is coming up already again, so I'm gonna show you. All right, this guy is all broccoli. And as you can see, we have so many little sprouts coming up. And then over here, we have cauliflower and cabbages, which again, so much coming up. Just a little update on my chives. They look good. They still feel like a little flat and woody. So I'm curious. I need to do a little research and see if maybe they're not something that should come back every year. But here's my green onions. My green onions are doing great. As you can see, this is where I cut them, and we've already got so much growth in just a few days. Some of the zinnias that I planted are starting to come up. We've got one here, we've got one here. They're kind of all along this back section and the sides. And a handsome Sagerino! Ah, buddy. This is everything that I got from the Amish greenhouse. We actually went to an Amish greenhouse and a Mennonite greenhouse. I got 2 raspberry plants right here. I'm going to do the raspberry thing. I had them growing up and I loved them so much. I have no idea where I'm going to plant them. Absolutely no idea because they take over, but we're going to do it. And then we had some poblano peppers. So excited about those. And then I got one thing of watermelon. I got 2 rhubarbs, also not 100% sure where I'm going to plant this. My mom bought me some last year and I planted it and it did not survive. But everything I've planted in that section of the farm has not survived. We've done peach trees, we've done rhubarb, we've done a few other things. So I'm gonna have to find a different spot for that. We got some big beefs that were further along than mine. We got some Amish pastes. They didn't have any Romas. I got some cauliflower here, got some broccoli here. I was wrong. They did have Romas, but they were pretty small. So I got 1 flat of those. Sorry about the wind noise. I got some cayenne peppers, and then this is cabbage. And everything here are marigolds. I got a whole flat of marigolds. And I have a handsome lime. The sweetest lime you've ever had in your whole life. Hi, Lemmy. Lemmy. Hi, Lemon. That's a good lemon. Keith went and got me some cattle panels today, so now all we need to do is get our stakes and get those set. But I got something even cuter to show you. It's Garden Boy, and him is so handsome. Nice age. Hey, buddy. You're so precious. Yeah, I love you too, bud. Love you too. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah.